So today I want to talk about something that happened this morning that should send shockwaves through every Gulf capital from Riyadh to Abu Dhabi. Iran issued a direct ultimatum to the Gulf Cooperation Council states. The message was simple and brutal. If you provide military, logistical, or intelligence support to American operations against Iran, Iran will target your oil infrastructure, not with warnings. Not with limited strikes, with comprehensive attacks designed to destroy your ability to export oil for months or years. And what makes this ultimatum so devastating is not just the threat itself. What makes it devastating is the response from China, or rather the complete absence of a response. China said nothing. China issued no statement. China made no security assurances. China offered no protection. And that silence, that deliberate silence, tells the Gulf states everything they need to know. You are alone. China will not protect you if Iran attacks, and if China will not protect you, who will? Let me walk you through exactly what happened, what this ultimatum means, and why China's silence is the most strategically significant signal in this entire conflict. Because what we witnessed this morning is the formal abandonment of the Gulf states by the one power they thought would protect them when America could not. So let me start with Iran's statement. It was delivered through official channels to the ambassadors of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, and Oman. The language was diplomatic, but the message was unambiguous. Iran stated that it has observed Gulf states allowing American military aircraft to use their air bases for strikes against Iran. Iran stated that it has evidence of Gulf states providing intelligence to American forces. And Iran stated that if this cooperation continues, Iran will consider Gulf oil infrastructure legitimate military targets. Now, this is not an empty threat. Iran has already demonstrated the capability to strike Saudi oil facilities with precision. The 2019 attacks on Aramco facilities proved that Iranian missiles and drones can penetrate Saudi air defenses and cause massive damage. And that was before Iran had access to advanced Russian technology and Chinese satellite intelligence. Today, Iran's strike capabilities are significantly more advanced. But here is what makes this ultimatum different from previous Iranian threats. Iran is issuing this ultimatum from a position of strength, not desperation. Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has guaranteed revenue from China. Iran has military backing from Russia. Iran does not need Gulf states to remain neutral. Iran can afford to threaten them directly because Iran knows the Gulf has no good options for responding. Now, let me explain why the Gulf states are cooperating with American operations in the first place. Because this is not about ideology or loyalty to America. This is about survival. The Gulf states are terrified of Iran. Saudi Arabia and Iran are regional rivals. UAE sees Iranian influence in Yemen, Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon as an existential threat. These nations have been funding, arming, and supporting anti-Iranian forces for decades. And when America went to war with Iran, the Gulf states saw an opportunity. If America could weaken or destroy the Iranian government, the Gulf states would be the primary beneficiaries. Iranian regional influence would collapse. Iranian proxies would lose funding and support, and the Gulf states would emerge as the dominant regional powers. So, the Gulf states quietly provided America with basing rights, overflight permissions, intelligence sharing, all the logistical support that makes sustained American military operations possible. But now Iran is forcing them to choose. Continue helping America and lose your oil infrastructure. Or stop helping America and accept that Iran will survive this war as the dominant regional power. Both options are catastrophic. If the Gulf states lose their oil infrastructure, their economies collapse. But if Iran survives and dominates the region, the Gulf states lose their security and influence permanently. This is the trap Iran has created. And the only escape from this trap would be if China provided credible security guarantees to the Gulf states. If China said, "We will protect your oil infrastructure from Iranian attacks," then the Gulf states could continue supporting America without fearing Iranian retaliation. But China said nothing. Let me explain why China's silence is so significant. For the past decade, China has been building deep economic relationships with Gulf states. China is the largest customer for Saudi oil. China has massive infrastructure investments across the Gulf. The Belt and Road Initiative runs through the region. China has positioned itself as the economic partner that Gulf states can rely on when American protection becomes unreliable. And the Gulf states have been receptive to this Chinese engagement. Saudi Arabia has been diversifying its relationships. UAE has been hedging between America and China. All of them have been building ties with Beijing as insurance against American abandonment. The implicit understanding was that if America could not or would not protect the Gulf, China would step in. But when Iran issued this ultimatum, when the moment came for China to demonstrate that it would protect its Gulf partners, China said nothing. And that silence is a message. The message is this: China will buy your oil. China will invest in your infrastructure. China will provide economic partnership. But China will not protect you from Iran, because Iran is more strategically valuable to China than you are. Think about what this means from China's perspective. China needs energy. China can get energy from the Gulf states or from Iran or from Russia. If China has to choose between the Gulf and Iran, China chooses Iran. Why? Because Iran gives China something the Gulf states cannot. Iran gives China leverage against America. Iran controls Hormuz. Iran ties down American military forces. Iran accelerates the decline of the petrodollar. Iran is willing to challenge American dominance in ways Gulf states never would. So when Iran tells China, we are going to threaten the Gulf states to stop them from helping America, China's response is, go ahead. China does not stop Iran. China does not warn Iran. China does not reassure the Gulf. China just stays silent and lets Iran do what serves Chinese strategic interest. And now the Gulf states understand. They are alone. America cannot protect them because America is losing this war. China will not protect them because China prefers Iran. Russia is actively supporting Iran. Europe is too weak and too far away to matter. The Gulf states have no patron, no protector, no security guarantor that they can rely on. So what do the Gulf states do now? They have three options. First, they can continue supporting American operations and hope that their air defenses can protect their oil infrastructure from Iranian attacks. This is a gamble, a very dangerous gamble. Because if Iran strikes and succeeds, the economic consequences are catastrophic. And there is no guarantee that American military support will be enough to prevent or respond to Iranian strikes. Second, they can immediately cease all cooperation with American military operations. Stop providing basing. Stop providing intelligence. Stop providing overflight permissions. Declare neutrality publicly. And hope that Iran accepts this as sufficient and does not strike anyway. But this option means admitting that Iran has won. It means accepting Iranian regional dominance. And it means destroying their relationship with America potentially permanently. Third, they can try to negotiate directly with Iran. Offer concessions, offer recognition of Iranian interest, offer economic partnerships, try to buy Iranian restraint. But this also means accepting Iranian dominance. And there is no guarantee Iran would accept any offer that does not include complete cessation of support for America. None of these options are good. All of them involve either catastrophic economic risk or strategic humiliation. And the reason the Gulf states are in this position is because they made a fundamental miscalculation. They believed that aligning economically with China while maintaining security ties with America would give them the best of both worlds: Chinese investment and American protection. But what they did not understand is that in a conflict between America and Iran, China and America are on opposite sides. China supports Iran. And when you are economically dependent on a power that supports your enemy, you have no leverage. You cannot demand that China protect you from Iran when China wants Iran to succeed. This is the brutal reality of the multipolar world that is emerging. In the old unipolar world, America provided security and economic access as a package. Align with America and you got both. In the new multipolar world, security and economics are often provided by different powers. And those powers may have conflicting interests. The Gulf states are learning this lesson in the hardest possible way. Subscribe for more analysis on how China's silence just told the Gulf states they are abandoned and what this means for regional stability explained clearly. And tell me in the comments, what do you think the Gulf states will do? Continue supporting America and risk everything? Or abandon America to survive? I will see you next time. Let me leave you with one final observation. The fact that China can abandon the Gulf states this openly, this publicly, tells you everything about how much global power dynamics have shifted. 10 years ago, China would have had to at least pretend to care about Gulf security to maintain its economic relationships in the region. But today, China does not even bother with that pretense. China knows the Gulf states have no alternatives. They cannot go back to full dependence on America because America is declining. They cannot pivot to Russia because Russia is aligned with Iran. They cannot pivot to Europe because Europe has no power projection capability in the Gulf. So the Gulf states will continue selling oil to China and accepting Chinese investment because they have no choice, even though China just demonstrated that it will not protect them. This is what it looks like when you become economically dependent on a great power that does not share your security interests. You have wealth but no agency. You have money but no protection. And when the crisis comes, when you actually need support, you discover that all your economic partnerships were transactional, not strategic. China will buy Gulf oil as long as it serves Chinese interests, but China will not fight for the Gulf. And now everyone knows it.